What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some unfortunate news. As legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, he states that the fight between undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion British superstar boxer Tyson the Gypsy King Fury and his fellow countryman, two-time unified British heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, is far from done. And Bob Arum, he states, this is why he didn't want Eddie Hearn to talk. Bob Arum, he's saying that there's a lot to be desired, as I told you guys in my live stream earlier, when it comes to negotiating and dealing with this fight. Bob Arum says the signed contracts doesn't mean anything because it's liable to fall apart if they can't find an investment group to put up the necessary money, to fund the necessary money to stage such a big event and run the risk of losing money because there's no guarantee that fans will be allowed to attend in person in June or July. That's why they continue to push the dates back. So Bob Arum, he's stating that this is why he asked Eddie Hearn, essentially, to be on the hush. But Eddie Hearn, Matchroom CEO and promoter of Anthony Joshua, he can't help himself. He has to take to social media and announce anything and everything. And that's why Eddie Hearn is saying in the coming few weeks, they'll have an announcement. And Bob Arum is saying it may not be a few weeks. It may not take place at all. He says we need an investment group to put up at least $100 million to stage this event during a pandemic. So Bob Arum is saying that's a difficult ask of anybody, especially not knowing if you're going to get a return on your investment. So Bob Arum, he's saying the contracts doesn't mean anything. And now we know the reports came out that they have 28 days to find a venue, a date, and a location, or the two are going to go their separate ways. We know that Tyson Fury, he's still dealing with an arbitration with Deontay Wilder, Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC reigning heavyweight American world champion superstar boxer, and Anthony Joshua. Well, Anthony Joshua has a mandatory in Alexander Usyk, who is the former cruiserweight undisputed champion, who is now the WBO heavyweight title contender and mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua. So time is a ticking. And Bob Arum is saying that it's a 50-50 chance that this fight falls through. So Bob Arum, thus the reason why Bob Arum a few weeks ago, you heard him say he wished that Eddie Hearn would stop talking about it. Eddie Hearn, he every other week, he's saying in 2 weeks we're going to make an announcement. Now today, Eddie Hearn came out and said both sides signed the contract. Bob Arum confirmed that both sides signed the contract, but he says it's far from done and anything is liable to happen between now and the 28-day mark that they have, the deadline. So Bob Arum is saying that it's far from done. But everybody was announcing it as if it was a celebration that it was a done deal. We heard Tyson Fury just less than 48 hours ago, he stated, unless I have money in my pocket, a date and a venue, there is no fight. So now Tyson Fury has signed his portion of the contract, still with no date, venue, or fight. Now I see people were saying, well, this is the same thing that Deontay Wilder did when he signed to fight Tyson Fury. It's completely different. Deontay Wilder, when he signed to fight Tyson Fury, they had a date, they had a venue, and they had the location. They just was going back and forth with different bidders. The dates were 2 dates that they were targeting. This is a completely different scenario. They have no date. They don't know if it's going to be in June or July. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, they knew the target date. They knew the target venue. It was just about going to the highest bidder. In this situation, they're not going to the highest bidder. They're seeking a highest bidder. They need a higher bidder. Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury announcement, they didn't need a higher bidder. They just wanted to sell it to the highest bidder. But they were already set in stone in motion as they was just looking to garner more money. That's not the case here. In this case, they don't have the money. And we're dealing with a global pandemic, completely different from the announcement when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury announced it, to them not having a secure date. They dated it. They gave you multiple dates that they were looking at, but it was in the same month. And they had a venue and they had places already secure. They just was looking to continue to fish for the highest bidder to get more money. In this case, they're not fishing for the highest bidder. They're seeking a higher bidder because they need money to fund the event. That wasn't the case with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. They didn't need the money to fund the event. They were seeking more money to fund the event if possible. If not, they would just move on. That's not the case here. In 28 days, if they don't find an investor to put the money up, to fund the money, then they're going to go their separate ways. Two different scenarios. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury scenario, like I said, they didn't go their separate ways when they agreed. They just said, well, we'll just end up going fighting here on this date at this venue if we can't get somebody to bid higher on it. They still walked away with the product. In this case, if they can't find a bidder, there is no product. There is no fight. And Bob Arum is saying that he truly wished it wasn't announced because now you putting the ball in the investors' court because now they understand that you need us more than we need you. And so now they could play hardball because you set yourself a deadline. You put the carriage before the horse. Two different completely scenarios. As Tyson Fury said, I stopped training. I'm stopped focusing on it. Because my confidence is not that it's going to get done. This was a complete case of them trying to save face to the fans, that the fans were getting restless. So they had to do something to get the fans to feel on board. They had to essentially, they had to feed you a little bit for you to stay happy. Because, see, the fans were starting to get restless that believe it's actually going to come to fruition. So those fans, it took 10 months since Tyson Fury initially said, oh, we got a 2-fight deal. So now today, conveniently, after Tyson Fury has kicked up dust and stated that he's moving on and he's not going to train and that he's going to turn his focus to Deontay Wilder, well, it's convenient that they come out just 48 hours later and say, oh, Tyson Fury and everybody involved signed the contract. But they still don't have a date, venue, and money. As Tyson Fury was saying, that's what was important for him. So Tyson Fury also says his concerns is that he will have to been out the ring for far too long by the time the fight takes place. Over a year, he would have been out the ring. Anthony Joshua would not have been out the ring for over a year because he just fought in December against Kubrat Pulev. He's been active. Tyson Fury has not been active. Tyson Fury is stating that he's actually, need a break from the sport of boxing. He just said that 48 hours ago. And now 48 hours later, they're announcing that the deal was done. The deal is not done. That's why Bob Arum just said it's a 50-50 chance. And it's not looking good. So for everybody that was celebrating saying the deal was done and that it's going to happen, no. It's still a lot of work to be done. They need an investor to fund this, and they're not sure if they could find one. Because again, see, they put the carriage before the horse, selling it as the biggest fight in UK history. So you can't have it in the United States now, can you? Because see, here in the United States, in Texas, is 100% open. In New York, they're saying by the end of May, it'll be 75% open. We're opening up slowly but surely. They're not opening up in the UK, and they're not opening up globally around the world. So now you're going to have the biggest fight in UK history on US soil. You're going to have the biggest fight in UK history on foreign soil. You're going to have the biggest fight in UK history not in the UK. So they put the carriage before the horse when they announced this fight 10 months ago. And 3 months ago, Eddie Hearn told you every 2 weeks, or we're going to announce it in 2 weeks. Now today he told you again, we signed the contracts, and in a couple of weeks, in 2 weeks, we'll make an announcement. Well, Bob Arum is saying that's not the case at all, and that they're stuck in mud because they need an investment group to put up and fund this money. And now he's not the only one reporting this. There's multiple sources reporting that they need an investment group of at least $100 million to fund the money, and we're dealing with a global pandemic. And they can't guarantee they'll get a return on their investments. So this is what happens when you have Eddie Hearn putting the carriage before the horse. And why Bob Arum did not want to leak any of this information publicly, why he was asking Eddie Hearn to stay mum and mute on this topic until they got something actually set in stone. Because now you're disappointing the fans. So now all the fans today that got all happy and got all excited and prepared themselves for our ultimate letdown. Because it's a strong possibility this fight is not even coming to fruition. So according to Bob Arum, they need $100 million plus to stage this event, and they're having a hard time finding such. So let's see how this plays out. As I told you, Tyson Fury says that's why Tyson Fury stated he don't care if he fight Deontay Wilder in the trilogy or anybody else. He just needs to stay active at this point in time. And it's becoming extremely difficult for him to get this fight over the hump between him and Anthony Joshua. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, as Tyson Fury put it. There's a struggle going on that you guys don't know about, that you got all excited for and wanted to tell the world and point the finger and say, see, I told you it was going to happen. Without a venue, without a date, without a location, and with a 28-day deadline. And you got other medias, they're reporting it as such, as it's a done deal. There's a lot to be desired, as I told you guys, before you put the carriage before the horse. So let's see how this plays out. Let's see if they actually get a venue, get a location, get the money, and the date. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.